Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas.
In this series, we trace the rails of a lost railway on England's south coast, the Stenning Line. Beginning in Shoreham-by-Sea, we journey north, uncovering hidden clues of its past. We explore the remains of each station, revealing the line's social and practical history. Along the way, we show you what clues to look for and help to understand what these remnants mean and how they were used in context. Our adventure ends in Horsham, completing the story of this once magical, now ever-vanishing line. Hello and welcome to this festive edition of Tracing the Rails. If you're new to the series, Tracing the Rails follows the paths of old disused railway lines up and down the country, looking at the old memories, the archaeology and the way that the railway lines affected people's lives. But today's programme is something a little bit different. We're here in this wonderful Christmas wonderland, thanks to Summerhill Garden Centre at Billericay in Essex. And as it's a Christmas special, the producers have given me extra budget, so I've splashed out on a festive shirt. Now, one thing that I'd like to say to you is about your gardens. We're in a garden centre. Do you have any railway memorabilia in your garden? Well, a surprising number of you do. Let's take a look. There's always a great interest and fascination with railway memorabilia, and collectors up and down the country have all sorts of things in their homes and gardens, including this rather splendid sign from Bramber Station. It's not from a running-in board, but clearly it had a prominent place on the station building up until the 1960s when the station was demolished. Now, the collector has been very kind in granting us access to film this, although he or she didn't want to be known on camera, but thank them very much for letting us take a look. They've also got this rather nice little bit from the track. These little clips were used to hold the rails into place onto the shoes and the sleepers. Countless millions of these up and down the railway network, of course, but lovely to have one in your own collection. Continuing the theme of what have you got in your garden, I present this. My goodness. Alex, this is yours, isn't it? Lovely to meet you.
Indeed.
How come you've got this on the side of your building?
Well, I'm a bit of a antiques collector and a bit of I get stuck in front of the computer a lot and a lot of auctions. And this came up and it was on the Isle of Wight. I don't know how it got to the Isle of Wight.
But you brought it home.
I didn't bring it home. I actually dispatched my 85-year-old mother to pick it up.
Oh, right. But the Henfield sign has come back to the Henfield
sign has come
vicinity.
Back. Indeed.
Oh, wow.
I'm a bit of a long-time steam train enthusiast and steam buff myself, so I have collected a lot of railway memorabilia over the years, and what better than to have the railway station sign from the village you live in.
So we're pretty sure then that this is the actual one that was on the station building, or was it on a platform? Do you know the exact heritage of this?
I don't know the exact heritage, but going from photographs I've seen mainly from some of your postings and from on the excellent Henfield website for the railway, the historical photographs, it looks like this was actually on the station, not on the station building, but actually on the platform.
Now, it is beautiful, isn't it? And we have to think as well how many years this is old. It's doing pretty well, the odd little patch of rust, but very striking lettering. Is it kind of enamel or?
It's clearly enamelled. It's obviously going to be outside now, so it's got a bit dirty. The plan would be to put a nice wooden surround, and make it look like it was on the actual platform itself.
Now, if it's not cheeky to ask, how much does something like this cost? Because it's quite a limited amount of it around, isn't there?
Indeed. So it just cost a few pounds. I think it was about £500.
Yeah.
But I felt it was important to come back to the village.
Well, I think that's a worthy thing to do. And with so little of Henfield Station left, just some steps, let's face it, we have to clutch onto anything like this that we find, don't we?
Absolutely. So I think it's integral to the memory of the village and of the railway.
So well done you for doing that.
Thank you.
If people want to come along and see this, can they?
Yeah, absolutely. If you want to, we live in where we live is called Rye Island in Henfield. You have to come down a rather bumpy track, but there's lots of details on Facebook pages and websites for what we do here, because we do quite a lot of Airbnb and events. We've got an event on here this weekend. But yeah, if you want to come and see it. please do get in contact.
So do that. Check out Rye Island and you can have your photograph taken next to this. I'm on a parcel of land owned by John Kellett, which is just north of the original Bramber railway station. John moved here in the early 1970s, and when he bought it, there was a large area of timber-framed cold frames that once grew lavender. The lavender was then shipped on the railway, which is only there, sent up to London where it was sold. Now, when John removed these cold frames and replaced them with more substantial greenhouses, he found a number of treasures buried in the land. I'm going to show you the best one of all. Out of all the things that John discovered on his land, this I think has to be the most charming. These are the original steel letters that once formed one of the running-in boards at Bramber railway station. These would have originally been on a big wooden sign on the platform edge so that the passengers knew where they were getting on and off. So that if you're walking along the Downs Link or cycling along there, you can still see these original letters, a little glimpse of a piece of history. One of the other things that John found on his land was this section of rail. It's under 3 metres long, but the thing that's fascinating for me is that it is astonishingly heavy, which is a real tribute to the people who built the railway in the 1860s. And it's rather sad to think that perhaps you went to school from Bramber railway station, you would have traversed up and down this rail many decades ago, and now it's just sat in someone's garage. Continuing the theme of collectors who have things in their homes and gardens, I'm back with Ian Denning, who's got a remarkable collection of railway memorabilia. Now, first of all, Ian, I must admire your ground signal that you've got over at the back of the garden by your barbecue.
Yes, yes.
Tell me what a ground signal is.
Well, the ground shunt signal is always in a goods yard or where we have a number of movements that can't always be seen by the driver with the main signal. So it's really controlling points and sidings.
And the big question is, how come it's in your back garden?
Well, it arrived here from Three Bridges. So they were making some different track arrangements at Three Bridges, and these were offered for sale.
Fantastic. Another thing that caught my eye, in the back of your borders there is a concrete post with 56 written on it.
Right, that's from the Stenning line, and that was a mile marker from what they did, the London and Brighton and South Coast Railway and the other railways around the country. Their headquarters, in this case it was Victoria, they would mark the track all the way down to the end of that particular section, and this was 56 miles from London, Victoria, and that was roughly where the Shoreham toll bridge was. The last one of those in the line was number 57, which was where it joined the main line on Shoreham Junction.
So when the drivers saw the sign, they would know that that's 56 miles to Victoria, even though they might not be going that far.
That's correct, yes.
Wow,
yeah,
great.
Yes, it's got two sides to it. So.
And again, the big question, how come that is in your garden? Where do you buy these things?
They come up now and again. So when they were dismantling the line, some of the items on the line were offered for sale. And I spoke to a friend of mine, he'd bought it, and I said I'd like it, and he said you can have it. So,
and you got domestic planning permission from Mrs. D to have it in your garden?
Yeah, reluctantly, yeah. It's a pretty heavy piece of kit.
Yeah, I can imagine. Now, these are rather lovely. These caught my eye as we came through. Where would this be and what is it?
Right, this is a rear lamp, and what this would be on the back of a coach or back of a guard's van. At night this would be illuminated, so you've got the lamp that marks the end of the train, and anybody at night would
like
be
a
able
tail light.
A tail light
that you get on cars, red lights at the back.
That's right, and anybody who sees the white lamp would know that that's the end vehicle on the train, and at night it's red illuminated, so we can say the train is complete.
And it was run on paraffin?
Paraffin, yeah.
Okay, so you fill it up at the top.
You fill it up,
or fill it up
on
in
the little burner.
Okay. And how long would a little tank of paraffin last?
Probably probably a day, and
So-
then be replenished every day.
So there'll be some junior's job to top them all up in the morning.
Sometimes, but sometimes the guard himself.
Right. Okay. So it's quite an important
Very.
little significant thing to have on the back of a train.
Absolutely.
And this one here, tell me about this one, because this is
Right.
slightly different in appearance, isn't it?
Right, this is a guard's hand lamp. So we turn the
So unlike this
Case
one,
to
the
open.
glass is clear.
clear
Okay.
glass there, clear lens there. But inside, what we have there is a rotating system.
Look at that.
So we go from
Amber,
amber,
red,
clear.
clear, so you can see the paraffin burner inside.
Yeah, absolutely. And the blue glass.
Yeah, I was going to say, why is that blue?
Well, we have a yellow light behind it and the blue glass. And
Turns
that
it
makes
green.
green, yeah.
So never mind your colour-changing LEDs, they were doing this back in the 19th century. This is a very clever invention. Must have been quite cumbersome and a little bit dangerous holding a lit flame.
Well,
Did they get very hot or...?
They do get hot, but you have a handle on the back, so that makes it a little bit safer.
And why would a guard have a coloured light?
Right, he would be looking down the train, and the guard would be looking up the train to see where the locomotive crew were, and at night he'd be holding that.
Ah, so we would say, platform's all clear, doors are all closed, you're good to go.
Good to go, yeah.
Fantastic.
With a green light.
Well, thank you very much for
No, that's
sharing
fine.
your bits and pieces with us here on Tracing the Rails.
That's fine.
Thank you, Ian.
No problem at all.
Excuse me, I've got to buy Producer Lou something railway related. Have you got anything?
What, like this?
Wow, that's a big one.
We aim to please.
As a child, one of my favourite programmes was a short animation about a little railway line set in the top left-hand corner of Wales. The Tracing the Rails team decided to make an affectionate parody as part of the Railway 200 celebrations. Quite long ago, in the bottom right-hand corner of West Sussex, there was a railway. It wasn't a very long railway, or a particularly busy railway. It was called the Stenning Line. In a shed, in a siding, at the end of the Stenning Line, lived Ivatt. This is Ivatt. Ivatt the engine. He works on the old railway that runs beside the River Ada, through trees, over bridges, and past cottages with smoking chimneys. And this is James the Steam. He's Ivatt's driver, and today he's in a bit of a hurry. Well, as much of a hurry as Ivatt ever gets into.
We'd best get a move on, old girl. Mr. Chippington needs taking home to Stenning.
Mr. Chippington makes cement at Beeding. Strong stuff, but today isn't about cement. Today is about roses, raspberry tarts, and remembering. Passing Botolph's Church and coming up to Bramber. Well done, Ivatt.
Can't be late. 40 years ago today I met her, and she made me promise I'd be home before the tarts came out of the oven.
That's Mrs. Chippington. She's made raspberry tarts every anniversary for 40 years. And this year she's made 40 of them, one for every year. The line from Beeding to Stenning used to carry passengers and parcels and ponies and pipes. Now it mostly carries memories. Hello, Ivatt.
Mind the badger at the bend.
Stephen and Lou like to follow the old railway and tell its stories. Sometimes they find old sleepers, sometimes whole signal boxes. And as the sun set over the downs and the smell of the warm raspberry filled the air,
I knew you'd be on time. Trains always were more reliable than buses.
Ivatt the engine did what he always does best. He brought someone home, which is quite possibly the most important job an engine can do. So far we've shown you lots of things that were on Tracing the Rails, but now an opportunity to take a peek at something that's coming up in a future episode. Our wonderful friends at the Watercress Line invited us to take a look at 41312, an Ivatt loco that was running on the old Stenning line. They gave us special access to film inside the loco. Let's take a peek. We're frequently talking about the remnants of the old railway line, the track itself, the buildings, the infrastructure. But what about arguably the most important thing of all, the trains? Well, in the same way that there are remnants of the old physical infrastructure still lurking about today, I'm happy to say that some of the original steam trains from the Stenning line survive. And I'm here at Ropley Station on the beautiful Watercress Line in Hampshire to take a look at one of the locos. Now I'm inside the cab of Steam Loco 41312, which is going to feature in the new series of Tracing the Rails, which will be on in the new year. And I'm rather excited to be here because this has certainly been a great ambition for me. We're now just heading up the line here at Ropley Station, which is part of the wonderful Watercress Line in Hampshire. If you've never been, certainly make sure that you take a look. So this locomotive actually served on the Stenning line for about a year or so, and it was especially built for running in a pull me and push me fashion so that the train could run backwards just as happily as it could run forwards. I'm joined in the cab, the very noisy cab, by Will Stratford from the Watercress Line here in Hampshire. Will, this is amazing, isn't it?
It's certainly something else. It's a lovely bit of kit.
The noises as well and the smells here are absolutely wonderful. And we're talking Christmas specials here. What does the Watercress Line actually do at Christmas?
We do, call me biased, but it's the best thing ever. We call it steam illuminations. Think of a rock concert, music, lights, imagine that on a train. So we take our coaches, clad them with 14,000 LEDs, music on the inside, Christmas baggage, you can dance along, you get a wristband that times in with the music. Genuinely, it's the best thing ever. Even from the outside, it's spectacular. Inside, it's something else. It's hands down the best way to end the year.
So even if you're not a railway fan, why not come along and take a look? But for drivers working in the time of steam, what would that have been like over Christmas? I imagine they wouldn't see their families much.
No, cold. More than
Very,
anything
very
else.
cold.
But yes, so the shifts were challenging to say the least from a crew perspective, and it's still the same today. It's a cold, wet, slippery conditions, character building weather nonetheless, and that's still the same to this day.
Yes. Now, this loco's moving, being pulled by that one, but if this was actually operating, we would be boiling hot at the moment, wouldn't we, with the fire?
Yes and no.
Yes.
Yes, because we're stationary. However, underway, the fire hall doors must be shut. All the boilers covered in cladding. It keeps the heat in, which means you get more steam. It works efficiently. However, no heat for you.
Right.
So you're still wearing your big coats, trying to keep warm. You've got a lot of air, ventilation.
Yeah, it's not very airtight, is it? Obviously, we got the sunroof here, but we got windows. We've got loads of vent holes, so it's actually pretty unpleasant. What about in the rain? It must have been pretty grim.
The rain, this one's not too bad. Compared to the engine that's hauling us 506 with an open tender on open cab going backwards, you get covered. Especially in the winter, the steam illumination stand. On the way up to Walking, that's great. On the way down, you'd lose feeling in your ears and you're going back again. It was interesting.
Oh, okay. But it must have been very physically demanding, especially for the firemen.
Indeed so. So, depending on the engine, this one you'll get through a couple of tons maybe in a day. Canadian Pacific, you get through double, maybe triple that as well. It's very intensive because there's just a lot of coal to put in the fire to keep everything going. It's very intensive indeed.
And of course, it's not just coal. Another vital ingredient for a steam train is water.
Yes, indeed.
So how would they refill? Did they have water stations at every stop?
So,
we can hear again. Fantastic.
So that noise you just heard was the blow down. So they've opened the tap underneath the boiler to blow out some of the sediment you get. So in the same way as your kettle gets lots of silt, same things happen with steam engines.
So it's had a good flush through.
Indeed so, and you use that using boiler pressure as well. So it's noisy, but effective.
Yeah. So going back to this water then, obviously they take gallons and gallons of water to work, and they have to fill up quite frequently. What would be the range of a loco like this one?
It depends what you're doing. So for this one, we can do about 20 miles. A nice round trip with our stuff, but we've got quite steep gradients, and we've got about 4 coaches as well. But you can probably get longer, it's longer and flatter. For example, you're getting up to speed and staying there. Now, 3 of our 4 stations have water columns, so we can take water. We usually do it at Rockley. You do it also have on other regions like LNER. They actually had water troughs, so a train could run non-stop and a little scoop would come down. Exactly so.
That's very clever, isn't it?
Southern Railway, they didn't really tend to do much of that because they were more sort of suburban. There was more stopping involved, but you did have big tenders, like 6,000 gallon tenders, for example, for the big express locomotives.
Because people think of tenders as purely having coal, but of course water is a vital part of their cargo.
Indeed so, and it's the bit you don't see. Everyone thinks, oh, it's a lot of coal. It is a lot of coal, but it's even more water. And inside the tender as well, you've got lots of bulkheads as well to stop it sloshing about and destabilising everything. So it's quite interesting inside as well.
The design work on all of this is just amazing, isn't it? So if you want to come along to the Watercress Line at Christmas, you've got lots on offer then, Will.
Indeed, so call me biased, but it's hands down the best way to spend Christmas, because my family, most of them don't really care about trains. However, this event, it's something else. Genuinely, we never see the actions like it. People who aren't remotely interested in railways come to this event every year because it is just something else. That's amazing.
That's wonderful. And of course, stay tuned as well to Tracing the Rails. We've got brand new episodes coming in 2026, so check out our website, tracingtherails.com, or here on Rewind TV. Well, I certainly remember filming that. Something else very memorable follows after the break. That's a lovely bell. And that reminds me of a special highlight for me, which was meeting Rob Bell, presenter of Walking Britain's Lost Railways. He was a very kind and generous man, and we met up with him and had an interview which featured in one of the episodes of Tracing the Rails. However, we couldn't fit it all in the main programme, so take a look at the full-length edition now.
Stephen.
Rob, lovely to meet you. This is bizarre, isn't it? Rob Bell of Walking Britain's Lost Railways.
Here we are.
Rob, I'm a big fan of Walking Britain's Lost Railways. What a dream job to present, because on our series we focus on one line over the entire series.
Yeah.
But you have been all over the country: England, Wales, Scotland, and Ireland.
Yeah.
Out of all of those, was there one line in particular that had surprising either history or remains that can still be seen? Because it does vary, doesn't it?
That's a difficult question, Stephen. We did 20 episodes, as you say, right around the UK. Do you know, up on the Morayshire coast, the line between Lossiemouth and Port Soy, that sticks in my mind, A, because it was absolutely stunning. The weather up there was amazing when we shot it. But I absolutely loved what that line used to serve, the industries of the fishing up there and the whiskey. And I like my fish, I like my whiskey. So I really enjoyed that. So that stuck with me. You know, the first one we did was the old Woodhead line between Sheffield and Manchester. So
the Woodhead Pass.
The Woodhead Pass
Yeah.
and the Woodhead Tunnel, which is now when I shot it, it was used for electricity cables to go through. So there's a lovely little bit of how previous era of engineering of the Woodhead Tunnel that the railways the trains used to go through now is being used for something else. So yeah, I don't know. I don't even know if I've answered your questions there. I'm just reminiscing.
There's
from the lines.
too much, isn't there? With all this historical content, how do you address it when you're sort of writing or researching or filming this for a modern audience? Because trying to explain these things that were from 200 years ago might be difficult to grasp, perhaps.
Yeah, and you know what, this is, you know, you touched on this, I think, how you said the difference between the series I did and the series you guys do in Tracing the Rails. You can really get into the details of the standing line, right? You can really luxuriate in that history in every tiny little detail, and I love that about what you guys are doing. We didn't have that luxury because you've got to move on.
You do a whole line in 45 minutes.
In 45 minutes, absolutely. Yeah. And I think what the difficulty is, if there's something really interesting about that line, you have to be able to show it.
Yeah.
And it has to be really engaging straight away, because you can't luxuriate to tell that story in its entirety. So it has to, either there needs to be something there that you can see, or
a spectacular viaduct or something like that.
For example,
yeah.
Or you need really good archive photos or footage to be able to show it. Because if it's just you sitting, once standing here was this phenomenal structure, or whatever it might be, it's quite hard to imagine that. So I think that's one thing that the producers and directors, who are obviously very good at what they do, will make sure that they take into account when they pick which stories, because they would have researched the whole line, and you'll come up with a whole plethora of stories, and you just need to pick which ones are going to keep contributing to the main arc of narrative for the programme. What's our main theme for this line? And can we make it engaging for the viewer in that short period of time that they'll be watching that particular story?
Well, you certainly did.
Thank you. Well, not just me.
Not just the whole team. The whole team. Now, we've been quite pleasantly surprised with our viewers on Tracing the Rails, because we thought originally the people who would watch it would be people who remember it with the nostalgia from the first time, as in later years in life. But our biggest age group is 25 to 35.
Is that right?
Yeah. What do you think is so appealing about old railways with that age group? Because it is a counterintuitive statistic, that, isn't it?
Yeah, it could be. I mean, I'm really buoyed by those statistics, Stephen. That's lovely.
We're delighted. I thought it was going to be people in their 70s and 80s who remember and use the line.
Yeah.
Who you look at it from a nostalgic point, but not so.
Well, I think. Well, let's look at it. Let's break this down. I feel like railways, old steam railways. There is something, I don't know, whether it's romantic, whether it is just the whole drama of the whole thing, the steam and the smoke flying everywhere, that kids are like, wow, what's going on there? It's the smells, it's the sights, it's the sounds of it all. You know, it is exciting.
Because new trains all look rather the same, don't they?
Yeah.
Apart from the different colours.
Just wish through.
Yeah.
So I think there is something that's exciting there about kids. I think maybe also there's a really good heritage movement right now, right across the country, that I'm sure you're very aware of, very well tapped into. And I think that's done really well now. And I think of one that I know quite well, the Kent and East Sussex Railway.
Yeah.
What a fantastic experience, what a fantastic day out that is for young people. And I know down there, they have a lot of young people who volunteer their time to come and actually get trained up to eventually be able to drive these steam
Which
trains.
is great for them, isn't
Which
it?
is wonderful. So maybe, I think the internet and the accessibility to...
Because they're watching it all on YouTube now, aren't they, instead of on telly?
Including Tracing the Rails.
Indeed.
And I think so that accessibility, the access to a wider community, which may not be your local community of others who share that interest, I think that really contributes to that, perhaps for the 25, 30-year-olds.
And speaking of people watching TV programmes, are we going to see any more episodes of your programme, Walking Britain's Lost Railways? 20 is a fine number, but perhaps there should be more.
Yeah, it's been a while now, though, Stephen. I can't remember when we finished doing that. Yeah, it was a good few years ago. I would have loved to have done. Yeah. Let's get that on record. Yeah. Because, it was a great gig.
It wasn't bad, is it?
It was really lovely.
Yeah.
I do miss it. I really, really miss shooting those. I've thought about trying to bring it back in my own sense, go on in podcast form or along the lines of what you do, but I don't have the time to do it. You'll know what it takes to put this together.
Yeah, there's a lot of hours.
And I was so grateful to all the teams who did that. So there are no plans in the pipeline that I know, but never say never, because I would love to pick up those reins again should the opportunity arise.
With your splendid engineering background and your interest in railways, if anyone at home wanted to get into railway engineering, what advice might you give them then, do you think?
Well, there's a real need for engineers generally. There's a real need for railway engineers. Things are moving on at pace within the railway industry. We're celebrating Railway 200 this year, which is a great
Amazing,
marker.
Isn't it?
And there's loads of communications and there's loads of activities to try and get people interested, to try and turn people's heads perhaps towards a career in engineering, whatever that may be, but a career in railway engineering. And it's really exciting. It's really exciting. There are new locomotives. I know GB Rail Freight just brought out a whole load of new Class 99 locos that you will see across the country. I never heard of GB Rail Freight until about 5 years ago. And I met the chief executive, a lovely chap. I see them everywhere now. You recognise them and go, yeah, I've been seeing these for years. So there's the passenger railways, but then there's the whole freight railway and heritage railways. It's all over the country, and I think it's something we should be really proud of in Britain that we have. And I know from experience with working and filming with people who work in that industry just how exciting and a rewarding job it can be. So I would say, get involved however you can. If you know somebody who works at a railway, go and do some work experience, or a heritage railway. Go and volunteer your time
and work your way up
and see if it does kind of resonate with you.
You do amazing things in your TV shows, not only the engineering but sort of the big outdoor stuff. Any new projects coming up that you can let us know about?
There's some. I'm really lucky. My other passion is sport. So I'm filming a series with the Olympics at the moment, which is really, really fun. I'm also filming some stuff with a big crane company. I'm off to Sweden next week, where we're filming a church being moved from one side of the town to another side.
And it's like 24 hours a day.
And it's like 24 hours a day, so you can...
You can film it.
We can film.
Call time's 4 a.m, Rob. Is that okay?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I am also working on some of my own series, some engineering kind of for older kids, kind of an education engineering for online. I'm keeping myself busy with podcasts. Yeah, wow. I mean, there's opportunities aplenty around, and I'm quite a curious chap, and in that I'm interested in so many different things. I just want to learn as much as I can.
Well, your enthusiasm is infectious, and it certainly comes across that way. So good on you. We'll look out for those. Now, I know one thing I did notice, Rob, about your series on the railways is your outfit was much more suitable than mine. I'm not just saying, producer Lou, how come Rob had like walking boots and jackets and a rucksack, and I've been given a waistcoat? I must mention your rucksack because that receives fan mail, doesn't it? Let's take a look.
It's way more popular than me. Yeah.
I remember seeing on your socials that this was getting so much attention.
I've been asked about it so many times. And I mean, I could put it on the record maybe to finally put it now. It's made by Brooks.
Okay.
Brooks cycle bags, like the guy, Brooks, the guys who do the leather saddles for bikes. I haven't seen that many of them around. I saw it, I liked it, I thought that would be great.
And it's in every episode.
It's in every single episode. I really loved it. It became a part of me. I still really enjoy that rucksack.
The other thing I noticed about your filming is you filmed in some atrocious weather, didn't you? Looking at the rain, and you're still with a smile on your face delivering this piece to camera in the drizzle.
Yeah, but like we said, it's a fun job.
Yeah.
And being outdoors is one of my passions. I love it. And so, and the great thing about having the rucksack, you can always keep your waterproofs in. In fact, I always did have my waterproofs in there. The jacket came out quite a bit, but I think the waterproof trousers only came out once or twice.
Right.
But they were always there.
Yeah. Lou, I'm not going to film in the rain, and can I just make that clear now?
I have to say, you've got a lot of pockets though.
Yeah, the pockets are quite good. The only thing is, it's freezing cold in the winter, boiling hot in the summer. There's about 6 weeks, twice a year, where it's comfortable to film in.
Are you comfortable now?
Actually, today's good.
Good.
Today's good.
Good.
Well, Rob, it's been an absolute treat. Thank you so much for doing this. What a random encounter.
I know.
But
what are the chances?
Maybe our paths will cross in the future.
I wish you all the best for what you're doing.
Thank you very much.
I absolutely love it. I'm a big fan, Stephen.
Well, I better get on with my programme, and you better get on with your programme.
Finish mine.
Yeah, I'm going that way. Nice to see you.
I'm off there.
All the best.
Take care.
Cheers. Well, the things you discover on an exclusive Rewind TV Christmas special. Join us after the break. The Tracing the Rails team headed to Devon to visit the wonderful Lynton and Barnstaple Railway, where we filmed Henry, the lovable railway collecting dog. The railway gave us such a wonderful welcome. We thought you'd like to take a look at more of this special heritage line.
There are times when filming Tracing the Rails that we've got to venture a little bit further afield to get the stories we need. Today is no exception. We've come to Devon, to the picturesque Lynton and Barnstaple Railway, to meet someone rather special. This railway opened in 1898 and served as a connection with the Devon and Somerset Railway, which terminated in Barnstaple, connecting this port town on the River Tor to the coastal town of Lynton, which was very popular with holidaymakers in the 19th century. The line descended a steep gradient once it left Barnstaple and encountered some very sharp turns over difficult terrain. For that reason, it was decided to build the line as narrow gauge at 1 foot 11.5 inches. This gauge had been used elsewhere by companies like the Festive Railway Company to ease construction and minimise the risk of derailments along a track layout that standard gauge rolling stock would have struggled with. In 1923, the railway passed into Southern Rail's ownership, who, faced with declining passenger numbers, increasing costs and competition from the newfangled motor car, finally closed this narrow-gauge wonder in 1935. Everything that could be used elsewhere was removed and the rest sold off, mainly for scrap, or in the case of a few carriages, garden sheds, with the third-class seats being used for garden furniture and some of the first-class seats being installed in snooker halls and Masonic lodges. Whilst the railway had its fair share of critics, the love for this little line resurfaced in 1979 with the formation of the Lynton and Barnstaple Railway Association. Their ambitious plan to bring the railway back into operation finally came to fruition in July 2004, when the first passenger train in almost 70 years steamed out of Woody Bay Station. An absolute testament to the determination and devotion of a dedicated team of friendly volunteers. And it's one of those volunteers we've come to meet today. This is railway collecting dog Henry, who works at the Lynton and Barnstaple Railway. For some reason, though, even though we'd travelled a long way to talk to him, he didn't seem too keen on giving us an interview. So we left him to his siesta, and I caught up with his friend John instead.
Wonderful to meet you. I'm Mike.
Good afternoon, Mike.
And this must be...
Railway Collecting Dog Henry.
Railway Collecting Dog Henry. Hello. Well, you're certainly the most beautiful of all our interviewees that we've had. So, the first question, John, is why? Why has Henry got this lovely little box on his back? Do you want to tell us a little bit more about it?
When Henry started to come up to Woody Bay with me, Mike, last August, I thought, well, he really needs a job to do. He needs something to do. And I remembered many years ago seeing London Jack in the Railway Museum at Bluebell Railway, and I thought, I'll dress him up as London Jack. So I made his collecting box. I got a saddle made for him and a coat, and here he is now with his collecting box, and already a number of silver and gold medals for his collecting prowess.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, he is very, very adorable, isn't he? I mean, I can see why he's a very popular cause to give to.
He's got the ideal temperament, and I suspect very much as the original London Jack dogs were as well. They were very, very affable and very happy to let the travelling public stroke them and make a fuss of them, as well as donating to the orphanage.
Absolutely. Now, John, you've written a book about the London travelling dogs, or was it particularly Jack you were saying?
It was the London Jack, really, because this is who Henry is based on. And part of that research I uncovered actually there were 5 generations, number 1 starting in 1895 at Waterloo, and number 5 retiring in 1930 from Waterloo. So 35 years of London Jack collecting at Waterloo Station.
That's fantastic. And they were collecting money for the Railway Orphanage Society.
Which started us as the London and South Western Railway Orphanage, but then became part of the Southern Railway Orphanage in 1923.
Oh, that's fantastic. And of course, we've heard stories as well in the sort of history press about kings and queens donating to the dogs also, wasn't it?
Yep.
So it wasn't just the jack about town commuter who would give money to the dogs.
No, not at all. And I'm sure the London Jacks, being a continuous part of the scene at Waterloo Station, would have attracted quite a following, where when you saw London Jack you had to donate to him.
Definitely. There was another Jack, I think, as well, because we were chatting about this before so our line, obviously the Stenning line.
Yeah.
I don't think we had any collecting dogs, but we did have a character who was called Jack, who lived out of Lewes. I think that's right.
Yeah.
So he lived in Lewes. He'd sleep overnight in Lewes and then catch the first train down to Brighton.
Yeah.
Apparently getting off at Stenning to go and get a biscuit.
Yes, I don't blame him.
Neither do I.
Yeah.
We've heard tale in our show so far that there were lots of very talented bakers and very talented food prep people in and around Stenning. So yeah, that's wonderful. Oh, Henry, Henry looks like he's having a nice bit of a sunbathe.
He is. It's a very, very tiring day for him. Absolutely. Because he's mentally on the go all the time, with people constantly wanting to make a fuss and donate to him. So it's quite a stimulating day for him.
Bless him.
I'm sure as the London Jacks did, he very much enjoys it. He looks forward to coming up here and having his coat put on and starting work.
Ah, excellent. Well, while he's having a little sleep, I'll sneak off. John,
right,
absolute pleasure.
Nice to meet you.
You too. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Do you like my throne? I'm rather taken with it, and in fact I might ask if I can keep it. As well as loving real railways, I love model railways too. And our friends at Model Railway Quest came to visit me at my home to take a look at my large Z-gauge layout. This is my model railway, and I'm joined by the brilliant Dawn Quest of the Model Railway Quest YouTube channel. Dawn, hi.
Oh, thank you, Stephen. I'm so pleased to be here. This is an amazing layout. Lovely to see.
Oh, thank you. Well, thank you for coming along, because we've recorded a little segment for Tracing the Rails together, haven't we, about model railways? Because
definitely.
The real railways and model railways have a big crossover. And you can see that my interest in railways isn't just for the real ones, because I love model railways. That's really what got me into trains. It was that way round, not the real ones first.
Right.
And this is my latest baby.
Wow. I can't believe it. You talked about it, and I was really, really looking forward to seeing this layout. Stephen told me about his Z gauge layout, 7 metres long, 15 metres long in some places, and couldn't wait to see it, Stephen. And it really has lived up to expectations, surpassed expectations actually. Brilliant. I mean, how long did it take you to build this?
We built an extension to our home that my mother-in-law used to live in, and this is the bit. I said, well, if we're building that, can I have a big upstairs man cave? So we built this about 10 years ago. The first 6 months a year, not much happened. So the railway now is about 9 years old. And it's been quite a job. It hasn't been continual work. So if you think, oh, crikey, 9 years to build a layout, I could have done it much, much quicker.
Yeah.
But it's the kind of hobby that you can pick up and put down. And I've got the luxury that it's in a bespoke room. So when I'm not in a railway mood, I can just shut the door and walk away.
I mean, I haven't seen a Z gauge layout. I've seen Z gauge in a kind of little roundy,
yeah,
but not an actual layout with scenery. And, something to behold. Very rare, aren't they?
Yes, Z gauge is 1 to 220, so the locos are tiny. If I can show you one here, I've got a little box of trains. See the size of these? Now, I do unfortunately now need my reading glasses to do any close work on these. The locomotives are absolutely tiny. Just look at that.
That is gorgeous. Tiny but beautiful.
Yeah.
Really beautiful.
They're like little watches, like a little Swiss watch, the kind of mechanism and the beauty of them. However, Dawn, there is one problem with these, because they're so tiny, they don't weigh much. So one of the problems I've had to overcome is that they can't pull much if you want a very... you want lots of steep hills. So when I built this, I made sure I used a laser to make sure the boards were completely level.
This is beautiful, and I think you've done an exceptional job of painting this back scene, especially because you had to paint this at an angle.
I've had to paint it
you?
sideways.
Yeah.
So if you're interested in real railways, but you're curious about models, perhaps they should take a look at your YouTube channel.
Oh, I hope so. Model Railway Quest. Come and visit us. We'd love to see you over there.
We hope you've enjoyed this special Christmas edition of Tracing the Rails. Once again, I'd like to thank all the team here at the beautiful Summerhill Garden Centre for letting us film in this amazing location. And of course, I'd like to thank you. Thank you for all your contributions, your photographs, your films and your memories. If you like the programme, why not check out our website, tracingtherails.com, for further information, interactive maps, and even better, why not become a Patreon subscriber? So from me, the Tracing the Rails team, and everyone at Rewind TV, have a happy Christmas.